and welcome to our kitchen here in Brittany in northwest France. I'm Jane. My husband Mike is behind the camera. We are early retirees, British, debt mortgage free, living a thrifty and frugal life here in France. And every Friday we open our kitchen and share some frugal food with you. Let's take a look at what we've got to share with you this week. So you saw there our tiny little European freezer. They're small, aren't they? Well, just the other day, I must have left the door ajar slightly and some of the food in there started to defrost. So what I'm going to show you this week is what I did with that food so it didn't go to waste and what I cooked with it. Without further ado, let's get cooking. Well, as I said at the beginning of the video, yesterday I must have left the freezer door ajar and the whole freezer completely frosted up. It was like it was full of snow. And some of the things near the front and near the top, you can see here, they've got all snowy and icy. So it tells me they might have defrosted a little bit. So what I've got here is what's left over of some strawberries, what's left over of raspberries, bit of the bottom of a bag. And I'm going to add to it some applesauce. The applesauce will sweeten it up. In here I have got maybe 2 cupfuls of oats, maybe about a quarter a cup, half a cup of butter and about half a cup of sugar, and I've just blitzed it in my food processor. And I'm going to get this put in these dishes and I'm just going to bake them. So when I put them in the dishes I can pile it up a bit because when they cook they will shrink down. So I'm going to do that and I'll show you them after I've cooked them. So it's fruit at the bottom, crumble mix on top made of oats, and it's going to go in the freezer, in the oven, and after it's cooled down I'll freeze them for another day. So it will be a strawberry, raspberry and apple crumble. So there they are, ready to go in the oven. I think these will be cooked in a hot oven, about 180, which I think is about 375, in about 20 to 30 minutes. And I expect all the juices of all the fruit to bubble up through it. I think some people call this a fruit crisp. Let me know in the comments below. Do you in America call this a fruit crisp, an apple crisp, a berry crisp? Because when we make crumble as British people, we usually use flour, and because I don't eat wheat flour and I don't have a lot of gluten-free flour, I'm using oats because I've got a lot of oats. Tell me, what do you call it? Leave a comment below. These are now going in the oven. Let's go through what I'm doing here. I have got a small bag of frozen minced beef. Those were frozen onions, those were frozen pepper. You can see by the snow on them where they've kind of started defrosting. In fact, the vegetables, the frozen vegetables, all came out worse, and things like the minced beef. So this is the kind of thing that I'm definitely going to cook and get into meals and get in the freezer. So what have I got in here? Minced beef, frozen onions, frozen peppers and some coconut oil. In here I've got 1 large chicken breast, half a packet of mushrooms from out the fridge, some of the peppers, and underneath here are some of the frozen onions. Like I said, the vegetables came out worst, and that's some coconut oil. So I'm going to saute that, and I'm going to make a white sauce to go with it. I might add a bit of frozen parsley as well, that I'm saving a little bit of it. I'll make a sauce up, let it cool, get it in a pie, and then the minced beef, I'll make that, get it in a brown gravy. And I'm cooking potatoes here to put on top to make a cottage pie, and that means the beef hasn't been wasted and the chicken hasn't been wasted either, and the frozen vegetables, that's not been wasted either. So I'm going to get on and cook those. everything's just about finished cooking now. I've got the minced beef, the onions and the peppers, and I used up the peppers and the onions because they had defrosted and the meat had defrosted, and I've cooked it all up. I've added some Worcestershire sauce, I've added a beef stock cube and some pepper and a tin of tomatoes, and that's what I've done in there. And here I've sauteed the chicken with the peppers and the onions and the mushrooms, and I used a little bit of coconut fat. I then just sprinkled this with some gluten-free flour. I used some corn flour, you would call that cornstarch. And then, because I had an open packet and a little bit left, I put in about a third of a cup, 2-3 tablespoons of hard Italian cheese. I had Grana Padano because I had a bit left in the packet and wanted to use it up. And then over here I have cooked potatoes, which I'm going to mash, and I add some milk and a little bit of butter and pepper, mash that up, and then I'll put that on top of the meat, and that will be cottage pie. The chicken pie filling, I think you would call that a chicken pot pie. I'll put that in a pastry case and bake both in the oven. They're all cooked, and now once they're cooked they can be safely frozen. So there we go, in the middle of my cooking, and I'll show you it when they're finished. Here's my chicken pie filling going into my chicken pies. I make gluten-free pastry. This is half cornstarch, half chickpea flour, so it's got a kind of a yellowy colour from the chickpea. And I'll finish this by getting lids on it and get them in the oven just so they're lightly cooked. Here's what I've saved so far and what I've made. I've got 2 chicken pies. You can see they're quite big pies. 2 cottage pies. Some people call these a shepherd's pie. I call a shepherd's pie when it has lamb, and a cottage pie when it has beef, and these have beef. And 2 fruit crumbles. So there we go, that's what I've saved so far. I've got salmon cooking in the freezer, and I'm going to wait until I get these cooled in the freezer, and then I'm going to cook the pork. So here's tonight's dinner. The salmon defrosted, so we might as well eat it tonight. I literally just baked it in the oven with a little butter and a squeeze of lemon juice and some salt and pepper. There we go. So it wasn't wasted at all. And we've got it with some salad and some beetroot. I don't mind. We'll have to eat it. Oh whoops. Oh dear. We hope you enjoyed that, or you found it interesting, and thank you so much for watching. And if you did enjoy it, go on, hit that like button. Now, we love to hear from you. Has that ever happened from you? Did you have to do a quick bit of batch cooking to save some food? What did you cook when it happened to you? We love all our subscribers, and thank you so much to all our new subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber yet, come on, hit that button. Just leaves me to say thank you so much to everybody for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.